What up everyone, it's Synchron here and today I'll be bringing you my Time Lord deck profile. Now, mostly Time Lords are known for just burning your opponent, trying to go for game, but I threw in a couple of Kaijus in here because of the green Time Lord. Mainly, once you get that Kaiju on your opponent's side of the field, you normal summon the green Time Lord, smack into it to the Kaiju, say your opponent controlling that Kaiju has 3,000, you just burn your opponent for 3,000 during that turn, or maybe you go for a Mechi on the Time Lord, half your opponent's life points that turn, whatever you want to do. I did throw in a couple burn cards in here, such as Ceasefire, etc., to kind of lower your opponent's life points, hopefully go for your game if you're in that type of situation. And if that doesn't work, I throw in Exodius for the rank 10 builds, mainly for the Gustav and the Spider engine. I'll explain more later, but let's get into it. Alright, so starting off with the monsters, we run 3 Michi on the Time Lords. Basically, what Time Lords do is they can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. You don't take any damage involving any battles involving Time Lords, which is good because the majority of them are, they do have 0 attack points. And during your standby phase, they do shuffle back into your deck. But what Michion does here, basically, if it battles an opponent's monster, you basically have your opponent's life points from right there. I believe during the main phase it activates, and you have your opponent's life points. But the next Time Lord is Sandian, one of my favorites, 4,000 attack beater. But different to this one, neither player takes battle damage. So even if even if Sandion does have 4,000, your opponent does take battle damage. But after battled, your opponent takes 2,000 life point damage. Next, Raffion. This is the one you want to run with the Kaijus. Basically, you give your opponent a Kaiju, and whichever monster had the higher attack that Raffion battled, your opponent takes the highest attack of the monster that Raffion battled. So say it battled a 3,000 monster, your opponent takes 3,000 life point damage to the face. To Zaphion, to Zaphion, mainly for the back row clear up. If it battles, it basically shuffles all spell and traps your opponent controls into the back into the deck. And if it's sent from the field to the grave, you basically draw 1 card. So it's not bad really. Next, to Meteon, basically shuffle all monsters your opponent. No, I think it's like all monsters on the field as possible. Let me just correct myself. Shuffle as many monsters on the field as possible back into the decks, and your opponent takes 300 burn damage for each monster sent back into the deck by this card's effect. Which is nice if your opponent has like a set field and then you just want to clear up the board. So yeah, I think Meteon is a good monster cleaner for in case your opponent has a problematic board. Next one, Lazion. Basically, you don't really want to attack with this guy. He does shuffle all cards or all monsters from the graves back into the deck, which is not bad, but you mainly want to sit on him when your opponent draws. Once per turn, when your opponent draws a card, they basically take 1,000 burn damage, which is nice. And the final Time Lord is Halion. What this one does is say you have about 2,000 life points and your opponent has 8,000. What this one does is if it battled, your opponent takes damage equal to the difference of your both your life points. So say you have 2,000, they have 8,000, they take 6,000 life point damage to equal out the life points. Next is Time Mating. Basically, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card to your side of the field, tribute it, add a Time Lord with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, or if this card is in the grave, mainly with Foolish Burial, you can banish it, special summon a Time Lord from your deck to the field, ignoring against summon conditions, but you cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this effect. So say you special summon it, tribute, and then add a Time Lord, you can't activate its grave effect during that turn, but but you can activate it the next turn as long as you didn't special summon during your next turn. And like I said, we do run the Kaijus, so 2 of the level 10 for the level 10 play for the rank 10 plays, or just to run in it with Zaphion. No, Zaphion or Raphion, I forgot the names mixed up. One of the Thunder King, again, just for the Green Time Lord burn. Dogian, again, just for the Green Time Lord burn, and the Exodius mainly to shuffle either your shuffle your Time Maiden back into the into the deck to special summon it, and if you have your Time Lord on the field, you can go for a rank 10 XC summon. But other than that, those are all the monsters. So for the spells, I highly suggest running 2 Mind of the Bound Creator, basically just to protect your Time Lords from being targeted by card effects. Next, 2 Advanced Draw for the draw power. Tribute a level 8 or higher monster on the field, draw 2 cards. So in case your opponent does manage to negate your Time Lord's monster effects, you can use tribute it off right there, draw cards, and hopefully you have what you need to kind of counteract your opponent. 2 Pot of Duality. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of them, and shuffle the rest back into the deck. 2 Magical Mallet. I feel as if this card is somewhat helpful to unbrick hands, because say you don't have the cards you want, but you do have a Magical Mallet. You activate it, shuffle not all of the cards, but at least say 2 or 3 from your hand. In case your opponent does ash it, at least you have 2 cards or so to possibly that you possibly didn't waste for the reshuffle. 2 Call by the Grave for the hand traps, and 1 Hatrunade just for returning all the spell traps or even field spells back into the hand. Alright, so for the traps, I do run 2 Torrential Tributes just because Time Lords can be destroyed by battle or card effects, and I do believe this card is a game changer if your opponent doesn't run Phoenix or any card that prevents their monsters from being destroyed by card effects. Next, 2 Ceasefire. For every monster on the field, you can activate this card. Your opponent takes 500 life point damage for each monster on the field. You manage to activate 2 of these in 1 turn. Your opponent takes double that amount. 2 Dimension Wall. Basically, any battle say your opponent's monster declares a direct attack. Instead of you taking the battle damage, your opponent takes the battle damage you would have taken. 2 Lost Wind. Basically, you target a special summon monster on the field. It has its effects negated, and its original attack is halved. And if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck while this card's in the grave, you could reset it, but you banish it when it leaves the field instead. And I do run 1 Floodgate Trap Hole. Just kind of, it's somewhat of a, what's the word? Quaking Mirror Force. When your opponent special summons a monster, obviously it's not good with links. That's why I'd rather run it at 1. In case your opponent tries to set up a field to link summon, you could just activate this card, and they have face down monsters on the field they can't really deal with unless they tribute summon them, but that's honestly kind of rare. That's not really common in today's meta, but other than that, that's all the traps I run for this deck. So for the extra deck, we run Gustav Max for the 2000 burn damage, Super Dora, either to protect itself from card effects or a monster you control with card effects, the Spider Engine. Basically, this one, depending on the difference from your life points and your opponent's life points, all monsters you control gain the difference. What this one does is your monsters gain the difference in life points for their defense points. And what this one does is, if it's XC summoned by XC climbing, Obviously, you want to go into the rank 10, the rank 11, then finally the big boss monster. Basically, during the next turn, you can detach a material from this card, banish as many special summon monsters your opponent controls, attach one of those banished monsters to this card, and if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach a material from this card instead. So honestly, it's an easy 4,000 beater to go into if your opponent has no cards to remove, no cards that can remove this card on the field. You could basically go from game here and just sit on it as a big boss monster. A card I don't have is the new Super Dreadnought rank 11 or rank 12. I can't remember. It was in the Sisters of the Rose booster packs. I don't have that card because it's like $20 right now. I do hope to get it, but I would highly suggest running that new Gustav train rank 11 monster, if I'm correct. But until then, this is the build I had to run with, and that's about it. Alright, so for the side deck, we run 2 of the raw sphere modes. In case your opponent has a problematic board, you could just tribute them all. Special summon raw sphere mode on this side of the field. When it comes back to you, you could just what's it called? You could activate advanced draw 2 cards off this card, which is not that bad. What other Exodius? In case just want to go for the extra deck rank 10 plays a lot faster. 2 Celestial Transformation to get the Time Lords out of your deck out of your hand a lot faster just by special summoning them. But you do have their attack points, but the majority of Time Lords don't really have attack points. They're all 0. Except for the gold one, but other than that, it's no big deal. 1 hit Trunade for the back row. Foolish Burial. 2 Dimension Barrier, basically. This card basically, pretty sure all of you know, it negates Fusion Synchro or XZ monsters from being summoned, and if a Fusion Synchro or XZ monsters on the field, they have their effects negated. One final card I actually found surprisingly really cheap is Forbidden Apocrypha. Basically, this card here forces each player to send 1 declared extra deck monster type, Fusion Synchro or XZ, and if there are 2 or more of the declared type on the field, each player must send all those declared types they control to the grave, which is not bad, especially for like say Thunder Dragons with their problematic boss monster. So yeah. Other than that, that's all for the deck profile, and I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.